Welcome back to another edition of Wild Encounters. We're in the aquarium area. I'm with Beth, who's an aquarist here, and we're talking about seahorses, kind of an iconic animal of the ocean, and they breed them here. And so we have a whole range from adults all the way down to babies so tiny that I didn't realize they were in there before I started filming them. So tell us a little about the seahorses that you have here.
So we have a variety of different sizes right now. We have several babies and a couple months old. We actually just last month released 8 juveniles out onto exhibit. So you can tell the difference between them and the adult counterparts because there is quite a size difference. The juveniles that we have, the babies that were just born this month, they're about 3 millimeters large, so nice and tiny. It's kind of hard to count them, but yeah, we get them nice and small. They're bred here, and then once they get a large enough size, we move them to a larger container, and then they eventually go out on exhibit as well.
And so seahorses, when they are breeding and they give birth, kind of the iconic trivia question about how the males carry the baby. So kind of describe that process for the folks out there who hadn't heard of that before.
So yeah, this is the only species I know of where the male is the one that's pregnant. So they do a little courting dance where the male puffs his belly up really, really big. And again, they're called pot bellies, so that's very appropriate. And then they do a little mating dance, and then they travel up in the water column, position themselves, and the female actually transfers the eggs to the male. And then he carries them for about 3 to 4 weeks. And then once it's time, he juts the babies out and lets them go on their way.
So super dad stepping in to make things a little easier for mom, and then the seahorses go on their way, very tiny. So what are they eating? When you see them here in the footage, they're like the size of my fingernail when they're first born. What are they eating from when they're young all the way up when they're adults?
So we feed them Artemia, which is like juvenile sea monkeys, basically. But we feed them 2-day-old ones, which are pretty tiny, so you can barely see them moving in the water. We do feed them 4 times a day. We offer them food. Sometimes they don't eat, but sometimes they do. We have to make sure we offer enough because they do have shorter digestive tracts, so you want to make sure that they eat enough so they can grow fast enough. And then once they're larger, we do feed them zooplankton and mysis on exhibit as well, frozen, that we just thaw out, and then we just feed it and they chase after it.
One thing I was wondering too, because based on their shape, it's kind of mesmerizing the way they move through the water. How do they propel themselves? Because it's not like they have big fins like other fish, or, you know, it seems like they just kind of glide.
They do kind of glide. They're not active swimmers like fish are. They have a tail, but that's mostly just to attach to the substrate or different materials that are in the water. But they do have a set of fins. They have one long one down their back, and then they also have 2 kind of on the side of their head, so that's how they control their directionalities with that, and they kind of propel with the back. But mostly they go with the currents.
Yeah, very cool. So they kind of just float their way along very gracefully through the water. So come on down here, head into the aquarium area. You can see some of them here on exhibit, right across from the sharks, right here in the midst of the aquarium area. Come check out these very cool seahorse. We'll see you next time.